old girl living in Hyderabad. She's passionate about social service. She is the founder and president of Care Good Foundation, a non-profit organization that goes to empower senior citizens and share the lessons to the younger generation. She provides medicines, PPE kits, and underprivileged senior citizens monthly and document their stories. See, this is interesting about the documenting stories where she feels that this is a great lesson from the elders. As a part of the Care Good Foundation, she also conducts workshops on solar awareness and access to solar power across India. She has currently provided 700 plus solar lamps to the underprivileged children. Wow, what a fantastic story, Anvita. I am very, very proud of the work you do from this foundation. So definitely for all our viewers, I would let you to talk more about your journey on this foundation and how did you, get inculcated with this social service?
Sure. Thank you so much for all those kind words. So essentially, social service has pretty much always been a part of my life. So before living in India, I moved to India in 2018. But as I would visit India every summer, I would go to old age homes or orphanages and give them basic things like food or care packages, blankets with my grandparents. And my grandparents have really truly taught me that giving back is a crucial part of life. Since we're so privileged, it's important to be able to help others who aren't as privileged as us and to be able to assist them with basic needs.
Excellent. So Anvita, what is your father and mother do?
So my mother and father, so my father owns a group of IT services companies, and my mother used to be a computer engineer.
Excellent. So Anvita, tell us, most of the kids want to play, right? At the age of yours, they always wanted to go to films, they wanted to go to picnics, they wanted to do. So how did you, I know that your grandparents are the inspired you. So what made you think about social service? What was the first event clicked in your mind that I should do this, I should help them? So what was that?
Well, I think that like just growing up overall, I really don't remember the first, but like an example of one is just seeing my grandparents do things such as make pulihara and package it and give it to old age homes in the vicinity around where they lived in Vijayawada. And I think even just seeing that and seeing how happy like people were to receive the goods that they were giving made me want to do that even more, to be able to help them and make other people feel that happy as well. So just experiences like that in social service really inspired me to participate more actively with social service myself.
Excellent, Anvita. So that means you are basically from Vijayawada and you started this social service career from the Vijayawada. So where you live today?
I currently live in Hyderabad.
Excellent. So before that, in US, you are born and brought up in US?
Yes. So I was born in Connecticut and moved to North Carolina when I was 4. And then in 2018, I moved to Hyderabad.
Excellent. So what was your experience when you moved from United States to India? So pretty much you were normal, or what was the challenges or experiences you had in your mind when you moved there?
Okay, so I think definitely when I was moving from America to India, I thought that a huge thing that I would struggle with was school because of the difference in schooling. However, thankfully, I was exposed to a community of other Indians like me who have moved from other countries or were born in other countries through my school. So I think that was a pretty easy transition for me. And I found it really enjoyable because it felt like a summer continuously, since I would spend every summer with my grandparents. So I was always continuously with my grandparents when I moved to India. And I think that that's what made me really happy as well.
Excellent, Anvita. So coming to your education, I think probably you have started from 5th grade, or what's the grade you started in India?
So I came to India and started off 7th grade here, and I'm in 11th grade now.
Excellent, excellent. So you started your activities in 7th grade?
Yeah, so essentially I was always a part of service, but what I really scaled all of my service activities and started my whole nonprofit organization towards the beginning of COVID in March 2020.
Excellent. So tell me, Anvita, whenever you are doing these services, what was your reaction from your father or mother? They encouraged you, or what exactly they told when you wanted to choose this as a passion?
Yeah, so they were completely in support of my service journey, not only through donating, but actually actively participating in the service activities themselves. For example, if I wanted to deliver medicines for senior citizens, which I do monthly, then my parents actually come along with me. They take pictures and they deliver the medicines along with me, speak to the senior citizens with me, and they're also interested in service themselves. So I think that's why they're so in support of, they're so supporting to me when I want to start new service activities, and they're always ready to support me in any way.
Excellent. So when was the first time you were, someone praised you, right? Hey, Anvita, you are doing a great job. I think, let me know if you need any help. Was there any instance in your journey someone has motivated you apart from your family and parents?
Yeah, I think, well, the very first time, apart from my family and parents, was when I was raising money for my first fundraiser, which was for COVID care. That's a fundraiser where I delivered medicines to senior citizens. So during the peak of COVID, medicines and PPEs. So during that time, I went around my neighborhood asking everyone if they were willing to donate to my cause. And when I told them about what I was doing, a lot of them donated. And after I sent them updates like pictures of the delivery and everything, that was the very first time that someone outside of my family actually praised me for the work that I did.
What a kind heart, Anvita, you have. And, especially in COVID, every parent will say, hey, be safe, don't go out, don't go out. So how was your mom's reaction, especially when it comes to your mom? Definitely, they'll be very, very possessive about, they wanted to be highly protective about you. So how was the reaction, and were you not scared of that?
Yeah, so I think especially since March was the very peak of COVID in India, at least, and that's when there was so many rising COVID cases. So I think a lot of people weren't willing to even help me deliver the medicines, but I thought, okay, this is something that I want to do. And my mom definitely asked me to be cautious about it because obviously safety always comes first. But what I did was, just like a week before I delivered medicines, I made sure not to go out and to stay safe, so that when I actually, and even while I'm delivering the medicines, to be masked and wear gloves throughout the delivery. So my mom definitely made sure that I had safety practices put into place, but she was still supportive of me actually going to deliver the medicines.
Excellent, Anvita. So coming to the foundation, Care Good Foundation, right? What was the confidence which drove you to start this organization, right? It's starting a foundation comes with a responsibility, commitment, and spending some time. So what was the confidence driven? Is it your parents inspired you, or you wanted to do? How did you know about this foundation and you wanted to make this happen?
Yeah, so I think the thing was that I always knew that I wanted to do some type of social activities. So I think that obviously my grandparents and my parents were a huge influence on that. So once I started my very first social activity by myself, I thought if I could start one project, I could start many and create a whole organization that has a large amount of social impact. And at that point, even during COVID, I saw that there weren't many teens who were reaching their full potential and doing as much as they can in regards to social impact, especially in such a pressing time. And I think that seeing that, I took that as an opportunity to actually start a nonprofit organization myself. One other huge thing was when I first started off the COVID care project, I read a lot of articles online. For example, the article that sparked my interest in this project was about how senior citizens are the most vulnerable, and it was talking about the situation in Italy. So I think reading a lot of articles like this and reading about other people's social work is what really grew my interest in starting my own organization and making an impact. Yeah.
Excellent. I think that's a great thought. I could understand and inspire from you, reading the articles, right? The foundation, the activities you do, it made you to read about the articles. So how do you when did you think that, I need to come onto the media and, make this as more, so that, what made you, especially if you see you are one of the three teens which changed the world, right? And coming on to Force, I'm sure that every CEO would dream to be on the Forbes. So that you are on Forbes. So how did you feel and how did this happen?
Yeah, so I think it was all sort of like if you've ever seen dominoes fall over one after another, it was all like a series of events. So the first thing was I started a fundraiser called Solar Good. So I provided solar panels to rural children. For that, I started a campaign on Milap to send to all of my family, friends, neighbors, everyone that I know, for crowdfunding, right? And when I started that, the Milap team actually recognized me and said that they would be interested in featuring this project on the New Indian Express edX. So that was my very first article. And then one after another, every article fell into place right after. So these news reporters saw this article. So it was really completely unintentional, but still, I'm so incredibly thankful for the amount of media attention that not even me, but Caregood has gotten as a whole, because this has helped Caregood grow so much, not even donations wise, but people are so willing to help out Caregood through volunteering and actively participating in service activities, which is very special to me and the organization as a whole.
So what was the interview about Forbes? So how did they approach you? Through the social media itself?
Yes, yeah. So I think it was just like, once again, one article after another. I started getting international recognition. So my first article was from Points of Light, which is George Bush's foundation. So I think that was my first like huge article that I got in the US. And I think many other news reporters found out about my service work through that article as well.
Excellent. I think that those were the proud moments even I could see. So when they saw on Forbes, how did your dad react? What was your dad and mom comment during that time?
Yeah, so actually when I got the Forbes article, I got it around 2 a.m. So I was asleep. I went to school, didn't check my email. Then suddenly in the middle of English class, I believe, I was opening up my computer to do some English work, and I saw the email saying your Forbes article is out. And I clicked on it, and it was an email from my Forbes writer, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. So right away I stepped out, called my parents, told them about everything, and they just told me they're really, really proud of me, and this is not the end of the journey. There's still so much more to come. This is just the beginning, and that this is like a huge achievement that not many teens receive the opportunity to even get. So they're really proud of me, which I'm really grateful for.
Absolutely. It is not so easy. Again, getting onto Forbes it's lucky and your hard work. Basically, it's your hard work. So which school you study, Anmita?
I study in the International School of Hyderabad.
So what was the reaction from your teacher and principal and your friends?
From my teacher and principal, well, I normally don't really share my articles with anyone, because I really just like did not show people, since sometimes I just feel like, I'm not sure, like it seems a little bit like I'm boasting about myself, but my principal actually did find out because someone sent this article to my old history teacher who left the school, but my history teacher essentially sent it to the principal. So the principal sent me an email saying, this is great, could we feature it in our newsletter? And he was really proud of the work that I did as well.
Absolutely. I think you read my mind. Even I feel the same. You need to share some things or something. So what was any bad situation? I would love to hear from you, Anvita. For example, someone might say, hey, you're not studying proper. I think you should put your efforts on studies rather than all these things. So there will be negative energies in the society for sure, in the school, maybe in friends, in anyone. Did you encounter such situation or any bad comments in your journey?
Well, I think just overall throughout my journey, speaking to people, everyone since I am a teen particularly, I think I have a great unfair advantage because being a teen, everyone's so supportive of me. But one thing is, a lot of people think that since I am a teen, this is the furthest that any project that I start can go. And there's no way that I can even do more since I'm just young, I'm still in school. And I think that's a huge stereotype. So that like my motivation to continue working, apart from the actual social impact and helping others itself, is to be able to prove them wrong and tell them that teens are capable of doing more than just what you think teens can do. And yeah.
Absolutely, Anvita. I totally get that. I agree with you that teens can do more, but what is the triggering point is very important. So definitely I wanted to ask that question to you. See, you cannot become on your own, right? There should be some triggering point your parents or your family might have encountered, or seeing that. So I would understand from your situation that grandparents going to seeing some poor people on the roads or something like that triggered you. Am I right, or you have any other things?
Yes, that's correct.
So what was the awards? I know definitely this kind of social work deserves some awards, right? So I know that you have got one of the award, Daily Point of Light Award, right? So tell us more about the awards, what you have won so far, and what is your inspiration for the next coming years?
Yeah, so currently the only award that I've won for Care Good so far is the Daily Points of Light Award, which I'm super, super thankful for. And I think that my goals for the next year is through Care Good, I want to first of all create a platform for teens, so of teens worldwide, to be able to share these senior citizen stories at a larger scale, and start documenting them more thoroughly. And apart from that, my overall goal in life is, this is through my solar power project, is to be able to light up rural India. So I think that in India as a whole, there's around 440 million people who don't have access to consistent electricity, and that's like a large amount of a huge number, and that's not something that can just be ignored. So I want to be able to bridge that gap for a lot of Indians and people in rural communities by providing more light to India as a whole.
What a great thought, Anvita. So tell us more about the solar projects. How did you pick this up on the solar? Who inspired or what triggered you to select this solar project?
Yeah, so essentially it all started off when I did research for an organization called Haya on air pollution in India. Through the research, I found out that air pollution in India, one of the main causes, is the electricity source in India. While digging deeper, I found that this electricity source is actually mainly provided in rural communities for free by the government. However, this electricity source is very harmful to the environment. And obviously, this is what's impacting air pollution the most. So when I was looking into solution, I came across this organization called the Energy Swaraj Foundation, which was introduced to me by scientific students. So when I looked into the Energy Swaraj Foundation, I did a course on solar power and realized that solar power is a great solution for this, because not only is it cheaper, but it's also much more environmentally friendly. So yeah, that's how I got into solar power. And when I started reading in more about it and working with the Energy Swaraj Foundation, I realized that solar power was such a great solution that I wanted to continue working towards.
So as a part of your project, right, and the solar power, what do you do? How do you take it into the poor folks in the rural villages? What is your approach today, what you are doing and what you are going to do tomorrow?
Yeah, so basically what I'm doing now is I'm conducting workshops on solar power. So I have created a course on solar power and contact schools and villages in India. And I essentially present this to children, teaching them about the basic components of a solar panel, why solar power is important to use, how to use solar power products and everything like that. And then I provide them with a solar powered lamp kit. So they're basically able to build their own solar powered lamp, which they can use, because while staying with my grandparents also, my one set of grandparents live in a village next to Vijayawada. So like an hour away from Vijayawada. And every time I go there, I see that a lot of children struggle with basic things like studying at night due to the lack of electricity. So essentially what I do is I provide them with these lamps to be able to study at night. And in the future, I'm currently working on raising funds to be able to install complete solar powered systems into public places where students can access to study at night, such as schools, for example, which are in need of continuous electricity.
Wow, what a thought. I'm very impressed, and hats off to you, Anvita, for thinking such a big, wider goal for yourself on the solar panels. So did you ever, okay, let me ask another question on solar power. How much that kit costs you?
How much does the kit cost me? So essentially we receive it from the Energy Swaraj Foundation. So it would generally cost around 500 rupees through the website, but we're able to receive it for less because of our association with the organization.
Excellent. So the reason I asked you the cost, because all the viewers who are watching, how can we help Anvita? That's the goal of this entire show. You know, either we have to be inspired or help to people who are really doing a great job. So that's the reason I'm asking all the viewers, please, if you can help in any scale to Anvita, please reach out to us, and we will be definitely giving those funds to Anvita to enable her and achieve her goal in a bigger, large scale, right, Anvita? And
Yes.
so coming to the, for example, what is your goal basically in your life? What is your goal to be achieved?
Okay, so I think that overall my goal is I want to continue impacting as many people as I can in my life, because I feel like the true meaning of life is to be able to be as impactful as possible. And I think in doing so, right now I'm doing service, and I think definitely service will always be a part of my life. But what I've realized through the service is that policy making is a huge thing that's really important, because at a basic level, policy making is what can make the most impact to countries, to states of people, right? So I essentially want to always continue my nonprofit organization, but also go into law to be able to make policies that help people at a large scale as well.
Absolutely. That was my next question. What is your education goals? Because
Yes.
you are into social activities, and definitely there will be a point where you have to focus on your career goal. That's fantastic. You answered my question, because you are going in your education which can impact to people. That's a great thought. And so before this social activities, was your goal to become a lawyer, or it was see, whenever you are a child, you ask what is your goal, they say engineer, doctor, right? So
Yeah.
when you were small, what was the goal for you or your parents?
Yeah, so I definitely always wanted to become a lawyer. So even when I was like since I was in fourth grade, I used to participate actively in debate. Like, for example, when I was 12, I won the under 16 national category for debate in America. So I think debate slowly I got into debate and realized, okay, lawyers debate a lot. So I was really passionate about law at that point, and still am very much. So I think that since I was a kid, law was always a part of what I wanted to do when I grew up.
And with talking about your Care Good Foundation, so definitely you have a vision, you have a goal, but how do you ensure that you add more working power to your organization? So what I mean to say is, do you have more people joining your organization and helping you? And what is your approach to bring people onto this platform?
Yeah, so generally I use social media with, thankfully, through the articles that we've had, the recognition that has come to CareGood, we've been able to receive a lot of we've been able to raise awareness through social media, and like, for example, through LinkedIn, right, to get people on the platform. But also it's not only us reaching out. I think it's become we've become a little sustainable in a way. So there's people reaching out to us asking whether they can volunteer, whether they can participate in social activities. And that makes me particularly happy because there's people actually taking initiative to, it's not because of college, it's not because they want to do it because their parents told them, but these teens want to be able to participate in social activities themselves after learning what Caregood has done and what I as a teen have done with Caregood. So I think that that's really inspiring to me as well.
Excellent, Amrita. I think social media is the biggest platform where you have access to today. And I think I would tell you to utilize, because that's where I saw your work and I wanted to bring it to the community. This might be definitely helpful to you from all the viewers. We never know. And always getting funds and helping in the right way is always needed. So we all are there to help you and keep your vision alive and motivated, Anvita. So how many people you have today as a part of volunteering?
Volunteering, so it's always changing. I would say, for example, in the summer we can have like 30 people or so, like from different schools across Hyderabad ready to volunteer. However, for example, through the school year it would be different months, different people based on whether they have exams or not exams. So I think it overall varies. Yeah.
So we're coming apart from these social activities, let's talk about your life. So how do you balance your life between the social activities, education, family? Tell us, the viewers and all the teens who are watching or who will be watching in future, how do you manage your time?
Okay, so I think that the main thing that I do is I have a calendar. So I set particular timings to do particular things. For example, generally Sundays and Saturdays or Sundays, mainly Sundays, are my days for social work in person. So what I do is then I would actually go to villages, go to old age homes, orphanages, wherever I am going, and conduct these social activities. Throughout the week, I spend 1 to 2 hours per day actually working on progressing with Caregood and planning for these social activities or creating new courses. Or once again, every time we go to old age homes, we collect stories. So writing those stories, putting out those stories, that's what I do throughout the whole week. And that's 1 to 2 hours. The rest, once I'm back from school, I obviously also dedicate a couple hours for homework, which is important, and studies. And then the rest of the time, along with Saturdays, I spend with family primarily and friends.
Excellent. So overall, you are very happy with your life, balancing your time between them. That's a great thing. I think being a teenager, I think I am learning something from you. That is, maintaining a calendar is very, very, very tough these days, right?
Yeah.
So how do you manage? Do you have any tools, or how is that today? How do you do it?
Yeah, so I think I've tried so many things, from reminders to the notes on my computer, Google Calendar. But what I found most effective was just writing it down, because when I write it down, I see it right there every time it's on my desk. So I have this little journal. I just write down what I'm doing in the day, the different timings, and I use something called the Pomodoro technique. So whenever I'm doing something, I set a timer for 20 minutes and then take a 5-minute break, go back to it 20 minutes. So I'm very aware of how much time I'm spending on each thing that I'm doing.
Excellent, excellent. Anvita, I also saw some of the young researchers for social impact program. What is that all about? Do you mind sharing that with all our viewers so that the teenagers know about this research program?
Yeah, so essentially I was part of that research program a little while back, I believe, towards the end of 2019. And this was a research program with YLAC. So I found out about YLAC through my school, since we had an Oxfam YLAC club. And after that, I essentially signed up for this program. This program helps you collaborate with nonprofit organizations. For example, here I collaborated with Haya for research on air pollution. And we're in a group of around 5 students, 5 people, and we all collaborate on conducting research with mentors on a particular topic that we're interested in. Yeah.
Great, great. So anyone can do this program, and what will be the benefit of it?
Yeah, so anyone can sign up for this program at any time. I'm not too sure about the acceptance rates, but they're really welcoming for teens who are talented and ready to be able to make a change in this world. And sorry, could you repeat the second question?
What is the benefit of doing this?
So I think that out of doing all of this, not only did I learn obviously about air pollution and about how to write a research paper, the structure of it, I also was able to meet a lot of teens who are interested in research or interested in the same topics that I am, that are making a change right now, that have nonprofit organizations, that have projects making an impact, whether it's impacting 10 people or 1,000 people. And meeting all of these bright minds really helped me, inspired me to continue moving forward. And it was great meeting everyone. Yeah.
Excellent. Anvita, I wanted to ask two questions to you. Doing all these social things and also in your career, family time and all this, what is that something makes you very happy? Oh my God, I feel happy doing this. And one instance I wanted to say, oh my God, too much work, I have to leave this. So tell us two instances what you feel about this, good and bad about it.
Okay, so the moments that I feel most happy to do this is when I actually speak to the senior citizens at the old age homes, because a lot of the times when I'm speaking to them, they say things like, oh, you're like my granddaughter, you must be the age of my granddaughter. And a lot of them, they don't have interaction with teens, right? And so the fact that I'm speaking to them, they think that it's so special to them. And that's so special to me because first of all, they are so wise and they have so many lessons to pass down, especially with all that they've been, that has happened throughout their life. They have so many lessons that it's so important. I always go out feeling so much better, so much more wise because of everything that they've passed on to me. So that's probably every time I speak to the senior citizens, that's when I feel the most motivated. And then one time that I wanted to quit. I have to think about this actually. I would say at times, for example, when we may be like creating courses or things like that, that can be very tedious tasks, like sitting there writing down everything in detail, getting it double checked, triple checked, creating elaborate presentations. So that's when I get a little bit bored of it. But then once again, I'm back to the service work and actually presenting what I've made, right? And that's when I know that everything that I've done, even if I felt like quitting, was worth it.
Absolutely. I think that's really, you answered it very correctly, that's the exact feelings everyone will have when you overwhelmed with work, and then sometimes that's absolute. But again, the motivation comes when you go to people and hear from them all good things about you, and everyone praises about your work, and that feeds more positiveness rather than negativeness. Yes, that's true. So what is your next project, Anvita, and what is the next project and where you want to scale this organization?
Okay, so essentially my next project is what I've been speaking about. It's the sharing of senior citizen stories. So we've already been doing this at a small scale, for example, through social medias like Instagram, Facebook, and through our blog on the Caregood website. However, we want to create a whole platform of teens who are interested in hearing and learning from stories, the senior citizen stories, right? And essentially my next project is essentially creating this platform and getting a large scale of really inspiring stories from senior citizens and like sharing it with teens. So that's essentially my next project. And in regards to how I want to scale this organization as a whole, I want Caregood to be able to impact millions overall, not only India, but worldwide. So my next step, so far I've been working on impacting, for example, senior citizens or rural children across India. But I want to be able to, for example, collect more stories of senior citizens worldwide. And I've been doing this through starting chapters across the world. So for example, there's one in Florida, Texas, there's one in Rajasthan, in York, in the UK. So I'm still continuing growing the chapter program so that I can make this an international organization overall. And if there's any other teams that are interested in actively being leaders in their geographical location through CareGood, then they can start their own chapter and collect stories of senior citizens themselves for the platform.
Great, Anvita. I think we wish you all the best in all your endeavors, and I will be more than happy to help you in any ways where I can, in my limits, for sure. And finally, in the interest of time, it was wonderful talking to you, and I wanted to let your message to the viewers, especially the teens. What is your message to them?
Okay, so my message for teens is don't hold back. Always make sure to, if you feel like making an impact, then just do it. There's so many things like, how do I do this? I'm too young. How do I start? Just start. When you start, everything will set itself in place, and making an impact is not as hard as it seems.
Absolutely. I think what a fantastic way of approach you have told. I think you are right. You should not hold back, because once you put a step forward, people will take you to the next level, right? So you meet a lot of different people, and they will give some suggestions. They will put forward a help towards you, and hand in hand, we grow a lot from every day is a learning day for me, right? So Amita, with that said, I think thank you so much for spending 30 minutes, this, I wanted to let all the viewers, to see more about Anvita, and her name is Anvita Kolipara, and you can also Google for, Care Good Foundation on the web, and please support her in the upcoming projects, and please reach out to me if anyone have any interest, or any of your kids wants to be part of Care Good Foundation and help them from United States. We are more than happy. Again, thank you so much, Anvita. Thank you so much for your parents for encouraging, and grandparents too. And you will continuously grow. God bless you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you so much. You too.
Bye.
Bye.